Hey guys, VALTORIOUS the AWOKEN here. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about a what if story. What if like Yagami was brought back to life. Now at the end of the Death Note manga, we are shown the cult that worshipped Kira and was praying that he returned, since at the time it's been a year since his death. Now 10 years after everything that had happened, with Minoru selling the Death Note and everyone in Japan gaining their fortune, 1 year later, Ryuk gets bored again and thinks about Light and how much fun they had together, and decides it's time and that he returns. So Ryuk is watching and sees a woman in a white robe praying to Kira. Now Ryuk has been watching her in this code for a while now and decides to give her his notebook. And since he wrote Light name down into the book and killed him, it wouldn't cause Ryuk to be turned to star stuff since Light had already died. Once she picks up the Death Note, she sees Ryuk and starts freaking out and begging for Kira to save her. Once Ryuk explains to her that he's been the one who have given Kira the power for him to become a god and for everyone to worship, she calms down and starts listening on what Ryuk has been explaining to her, and he gives her an eraser as she still has her disbeliefs about Ryuk. He tells her, "Here, I want you to erase this name off the Death Note." She reads Light Yagami. Ryuk tells her that if you don't believe me, then erase his name and Kira will return back into the world. So Azumi uses the eraser and erases Light Yagami off the Death Note. Oh boy. Light Yagami returns back to the world, and he returns back to the spot where he died at. And the person who is waiting for him is Azumi. Light is confused on what's been going on as he sees she's in tears holding a Death Note in her hand. Light begins to talk to the woman, and she tells him that she already knows that he's Kira and that Ryuk helped her Ryuk helped her find him. Light remembers what happened to him and is a bit mad because Ryuk didn't help him at the time, but he begins laughing because now he can finish on where he left off at. Azumi gives the Death Note to Light, and he begins to remember everything from what happened and sees Ryuk again. Ryuk is like, "Yo, Light, it's been like 11 years since your death." Light is a bit shocked that it's been 11 years since then. Light remembers Nier and everyone who was in a task force that hunted him down like a dog. Light starts his 4-month plan on how he was going to get revenge against Nier and his former task force members who killed him. Since there's been cameras placed everywhere, Light goes with Azumi back to the mountains where everyone kneels before Kira. It almost reminds you of that good old episode of Krypton. Kneel before Zod. It'd be just like that though. So Light looks happy and sees that there are plenty of followers and plenty of people who will be useful to him and for his plans against Nier and the task force members. Light starts planning on what he's gonna be doing, but he goes after Matsuda first since he's the one who shot him. Light gets the cult members to kidnap Matsuda and bring him to a secluded location where everyone is staring at him. Light walks up with the robe covering his face and begins laughing. Matsuda gets scared as he realizes that this is Light Yagami, and the moment when Light removes the robe that's covering his face, Matsuda catches a heart attack right in front of a resurrected Kira. Light disposes Matsuda's body and places him at the warehouse from when they all was at during a final showdown. Everyone is freaking out trying to find where is Matsuda, so the task force begins a search to try and look for him. Nier begins speculating on some possibilities that either a serial killer kidnapped him or Kira has returned. Nier looks through all of the cameras and sees that men in black robes came from the back and kidnapped him and thrown him inside of a van and taken him somewhere. Aizawa calls back all the members back to the police station and waits for Nier to call him. Nier calls to explain the situation and tells him that he believes Kira has returned. Everyone states that it can't be possible that we recover Light Yagami's body when he's been dead for 11 years. That can't be possible. Nier explains that Kira wants revenge for what happened to him 11 years ago. And it's not a Kira because a Kira only wanted money and didn't want to follow Kira's path. And I can tell you right now that Matsuda is most likely dead. Everyone is stunned by the news and take everything on what Nier says as precaution as they try to figure out a way of defeating Kira. Nier puts out a statement regarding Kira that they will catch him as he begins to form a plan on how he's gonna get him. Light has one of his followers follow Yamamoto and Aizawa separately. Aizawa notices he's being followed and allows it to happen only for him to turn around and sees that no one is following him anymore. Nier continues to watch and sees that each of the task force members were all followed and they all go back to their secluded areas that doesn't have any cameras. Nier looks at this as it's being too easy, so he has a small team of SWAT members go inside the secluded area, only to find that there is nothing but a photo of Matsuda holding his chest as he dies from a heart attack. After this has been confirmed by everyone else that Matsuda is dead, they each begin to mourn and start to believe that Light Yagami has indeed returned from the dead. Light Yagami is watching from afar and goes back to planning out the next attack. Nier remembers Light knew his real name, but he chooses not to write it down because he wants to do it in person and in front of his face, so he thinks back to where it all ended and tells the task force members that Kira might be held up at the old warehouse from before. Once they return back to the warehouse where they remember Light's death, they open up the door only to see Matsuda hung up on a rope and Light sitting in a chair. Light tells them all that if you shoot me, this place is set to explode. So I wouldn't try anything. Nier tells them that Light is lying, that they've checked this place out beforehand. So we know that's not technically true. Light tells them that I've returned and that all of you will die now. And before they could use their weapons, they each die right in front of Nier. Light tells them that I've did what you did. I've switched the cops with my followers while they was inside the area, and one of them wrote down your names before coming here. Light looks at Nier and tells him, well, Nate Rivers, looks like I won, and he writes down his name and kills him. And sure, I'm not Sugumi Oba and Takashi Obata that can give the perfect Light Yagami comeback story, but I hope I was at least close enough, because Light using his followers to help get revenge against those who have wronged him wouldn't be too much trouble, because if he gives away ownership of the Death Note to only people and then they sacrifice years of their life for Shinigami eyes or wings, then yeah, killing them would be extremely easy. And if they was to get caught, then they would write down their own names down on a piece of Death Note paper for the cause of Kira. And yes, Light could have easily killed them all since he remembers them and Nier's real name, so killing them from the start wouldn't be a problem. Also, this is Kira's revenge. Him getting revenge and playing with the idea that he had resurrected while having other people kill for him would also be in his plans, because who doesn't like an old-fashioned mind game? Because that's the thing. If Kira was basically again, he could have killed them from the start because he remembered everything. He literally remembered everything and stuff, even from when he came back to life and stuff. So killing them from the start wouldn't be too much of a problem. But like I said, having like this you playing with the idea of, okay, am I alive or am I a ghost and stuff. So he just plans out on how he was gonna do it. Like, yeah, obviously he would go after Matsuda first because he shot him and stuff, because in the manga and in the anime, he really thought that Matsuda was really for Team Kira and stuff, because he really thought that, yeah, like, because Kira was killing like bad guys and stuff, he lowered crime, because in the Death Note one shot, crime was at its lowest. Like, there was nobody doing anything crazy and stuff. Like, crime was at its lowest and stuff. So he would assume that, well, since Kira is technically good, he would be on his side. But in reality, he just snapped, because he was just like, your father thought you wasn't Kira, and then for you to say he was a fool to the end, I can't with this and stuff. So again, he would go after him first, and he would kill him. Like, the moment he takes off the rope and he sees Light's face, he dies and stuff. And then again, like, they take the picture to play with the idea and stuff, like, yeah, he died and stuff, but who killed him, and then Nier is a genius, so he would assume that, okay, either somebody did this or Light came back to life somehow and stuff, because that's the thing. In the manga, there was like the eraser, where if you erase somebody's name off the Death Note, they get to come back and stuff, compared to the anime where they never mention it, which they should have mentioned or had it in there, where if somebody erases their name off the Death Note, they get to come back. So L will be able to come back, Walter would be able to come back, like people who actually died would have been able to come back and stuff. But unfortunately, they didn't put that in there for some weird reason. But in this case, they would have put that in there. Now, I basically called the girl like Azumi because in the manga, she's an unknown girl. Like, they don't know her name, so for the sake of the video, I just call her Azumi and shit, because they don't know. So but yeah, you know, I would say like she probably would have been like technically Misa number 2, like Misa number 2 and shit, you know, because she's devoted and loyal to Kira. So, and then she got like all of the followers that's loyal to Kira. So him doing like the switcheroo and just to say like, okay, like he starts replacing maybe like the cops, you know, like with like his followers and stuff, and do this shit unnoticed because there's cameras everywhere. So he's a genius, and he would be able to work around like the camera situation. Like, that's not a problem for him because Minori did it, so he can do it. So it wouldn't be a problem for him to work around that situation and to blend in his followers with like actual people and stuff. And then he passes up the ownership and shit like that, and then he's like, okay, we got the Death Note now, so we got the Shimigami eyes and stuff. Okay, now we see who's doing this and that, and then they constantly write it out, names and stuff. So basically, you could say like they're the agents of Kira. They're the agents of Kira that's writing down names and stuff, and then they're like, and then they know, they scoping out areas, and then they know and shit, all to draw out Nier and stuff, all to draw him out, because he knows that Kira knows his real name, and it's like you can't really do anything about that. So it's like, you gotta come out in person. You gotta try to figure this out and shit. But again, he played into his hands and stuff. Now, obviously, it could have been done a lot differently. Like, he could have maybe said, okay, if he came back, maybe came up with like a new idea and stuff. Because that's the thing, in the Death Note one shot, it seems like Nier wasn't really like, he wasn't really too invested into the Kira thing because nobody was dying. It was just like, okay, this guy's doing something, maybe we should look into this. But he was just like, nah, he was laid back and stuff. He was chilling because it wasn't something that he wanted to get into. So it does beg the question, like, if he would have got into it, could he stopped Minori from doing what he could have done, because maybe it was easy, or maybe he was just like, you know what, fuck it, he got me, he beat me, you know, I'm not even, you know, it's whatever and shit. But in this case, Nier could have done something probably to stop Kira, but Kira would have wised up and could have known his mistakes and done things a lot differently, but definitely would have used his trick that he did to him with Teru Mikami, and just played him like, yo, I got cops here, I got this and that here, so I already got you, I'm gonna write your name down the Death Note, I win and shit. Now I'm the god of the new world now and stuff, because all of y'all's wronged me and stuff. So I think like I said, it's not perfect, you know, but again, like, it was a good idea, you know. He's just coming up with some shit, you know. I'm just coming up with some shit. Now, some of y'all motherfuckers, y'all gotta leave me alone. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Y'all gotta be like, hey, this ain't right. This ain't right. It's like, guys, this is for the sake of the video. But yeah, if you like what you heard you like, you know, please subscribe, share, do all that wonderful stuff, and I'll catch you later.
Kneel before Zod!